I am a 39-year-old special education teacher in New York City. And for the past almost 2 years, I have been suffering from, well, I shouldn't say suffering, but I have been diagnosed with depression. And unfortunately, I have been suicidal. My latest attempt actually was on my birthday, which was about 2 months ago on March 19th. This all started with an individual who was interested in me. I reciprocated it back. Things were going well. Everything was fine until suddenly the paranoia of her assuming that I am telling everyone about her sexuality. I never told anybody because she trusted me with the secrets. It's her journey. At one point, it got so bad because she was so paranoid why certain people were acting strange to her. I kept saying, I don't know. Maybe they were just having a bad day. You know, people have bad days. They just don't want to talk. They want to be left alone. Doesn't necessarily mean that I said something to them. So at work, there is someone called a union representative who is kind of like a mediator. She said to me, listen, I'm not only your friend, but I need to speak to you as your union rep. You need to tell me what's going on because you've lost a dramatic amount of weight. You are miserable. You're leaving the classroom in the middle of lessons crying, and teachers are getting concerned. You know that the kids come first, but because you're doing this and I've known you for 10 years, you're not like this. What is going on? Because if administration calls you in, you need to just tell them everything. So I told her a bit of the story. This person got really upset with me, but I tried to explain to them that my job is on the line. It's either I tell her what's going on in case if my supervisors ever called me in, or they make the decision to say, listen, we have to suspend you until you're better. You need to go on a medical leave. Things were okay for a while. In April, I was in Ireland. I was dealing with an ex-boyfriend who was just very, very nasty to me. I told him I'm not in the right mind space. I don't think it's really a good idea to be dating at this point until I figure myself out. That was when I really just wanted to end everything there. Between what was going on with the narcissist and now my ex-boyfriends, I was like, this is not right. I was in a new country, solo traveler, all by myself, didn't know anyone, and I also had jet lag. So I really didn't need that negativity at that point. I dialed a number, 988, which is a suicide crisis hotline number. This was a number that my supervisor had told me about. This is a number that friends had told me about. And they said, if you're ever in this low point, don't do anything stupid. Just dial that number. You can text them, dial the number to talk to them, or go online and you'll do a live chat with them. So because I was in Ireland, I really didn't know what the suicide laws were over there. I didn't know whether things like that would mean you're going to get hospitalized or something. So I took a VPN and I located myself in America because I know what the laws are here. So I said, I'm in Ireland, but I located myself in America because I don't know what the Irish laws are. I'm supposed to meet a friend in 2 hours, and this friend was someone from work who happened to just coincidentally be in Ireland the same time as me. And I said, I want to meet her, but I also have these thoughts. Please just help me do anything to just prevent this from happening. This person, whoever it was, by God's grace said, you're going to meet your friend in 2 hours. I will not disconnect this conversation until I know you're safe with them. So for the next 2 hours, it was just nonsense questions. Everything from what day is it there? What was your flight? What are you planning? Who are you meeting? Just anything to keep me busy for 2 hours. 2 hours passed by. I said, hey, I see my friend. She's in a pink coat right across the street. And the person said, is it safe? Do you feel it's safe enough for me to end this conversation? I said, yes. Hung out with my friend and her family, and the one thing that struck me the most after everything was when she said, and this is the first time I've met her family, she said, my mom thinks you have a very kind soul. That really got to me because here is someone who is gaslighting me, who's manipulating me, And there's another person who's doing the exact same thing to me, who's making me feel so worthless that I just don't want to be here anymore. Yet here's another person who has met me for the first time, and yet she already can see that I have a good soul. That's when I started to talk to my therapist, and she decided it's time to go into medication, because now it's not just therapy you need. You actually almost took this chance of attempting something serious. And it was a little scary at first. I had a lot of questions, obviously, as someone who's never taken medication before for anything. I mean, the most I've taken was like Tylenol or antibiotics. My psychiatrist was very great. He said, this is not lifelong. There are many people who just take it for a few months, maybe even for a couple of years, and then we just wean them off. And of course, there's going to be cases where people will be taking them for years. So it made me feel better knowing that this won't be a lifelong thing, but it will be something that helps me. I started taking it almost about a year ago. I had my highs and lows as any normal person does, but they weren't to the extreme. We all have our low days and, we always feel sad and such, but I never wanted to go to that part where I just wanted to end my life. In August, I was doing summer school, and it was a time when the learning component was done, but the after school component started. So some kids went home at noon, some kids stayed. I was at such a low point because I also stupidly stopped taking my medication for about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And it hit me, and I had this very low point in August where I had the urge, and I was like, you know what? I'm already feeling miserable. I have my plan. I spoke with everyone, but it's getting to the point where I just don't care. I don't want to be here. I went to a classroom and I attempted. This one really scared me because at this point, if I hadn't stopped myself in about 10, 15 seconds, I would have succeeded. I immediately called my therapist and my psychiatrist. I told them what happened. Of course, they were disappointed in me. I was disappointed in myself because I never expected something like this to happen. They recommended an in-person psychiatrist and an in-person therapist because at that time it was just virtual. I had trauma bond. And for trauma bond, it's this thing where you have this high. It's like this feeling of, I don't want to say validation, but it's this feeling of, oh, you're talking to me again. I like it. Even though you're barely getting any attention from them, you're just getting a little bit of that satisfaction that you want from them. So once again, I got that. In September, this narcissist of mine agreed to meet with me because it was always me chasing after them, wanting their attention. This time, the narcissist said, oh, how about you and me meet up? I owe you a drink. Let's hang out. And I thought to myself, maybe things will be different because I'm not the one chasing. I'm not giving you the attention, but now you want the attention again. So maybe you're serious. We made a plan to meet on a Sunday. Sunday comes. I get stood up. I got upset, rightfully so, because I just wasted a whole day waiting for you when I could have been at my brother's house. I could have been at my cousin's house. I had plans. There was no respect. So I write a little something on Instagram. I admit it was a mistake. Never should have said anything. But I just said, have you ever cared about someone or loved someone so much that, you kind of went a little crazy about? I did. Fast forward to maybe March. I was in South Africa. I had a great time. I was working on me because at this point, after September, I said, you know what? I'm done because this person doesn't care about my time. This person doesn't care about my feelings. I was doing so much better. Unfortunately for narcissistic victims, that's the thing. We want it all the time. They have this charm. You can't help but like them. And so that was the thing with me. I was in South Africa having a wonderful time, got little gifts for friends, family, and such. There was this yellow evil eye bracelet. And I thought, okay, this person likes the color yellow and evil eye, for good luck and such. Keep the evil away. Got something for them. And put it in a little baggie, put it on their car one day because I saw their car as I was going to the gym. So I just wrote a little note saying, I'm sorry for everything, I hope we're just on good terms. If you're angry at me, I get it, but I was also angry at you too. Like, spilled my heart out. I explained everything. And then 2 days later, I write something on Instagram that had absolutely nothing to do with this person. It was more about an ex-boyfriend, the same one from Ireland, who had reached out to me. Narcissists really like it when they take that attention away from your day, whether it's like a graduation or a birthday or such. So my ex-boyfriend, he knew that my birthday was the next day. And so on March 18th, he's just starting to say stuff. And it was more of like, I'm not ready yet. Like, I'm not at my right headspace. Same as last year. It's the same stuff. He gets nasty with me. I write a little message saying, you can always support someone, you can always love someone, but if they're going to be this way to you, you just have to back away, go your separate ways. It's a little hard. I'm going to be scared, but I have to do what's right for me. The narcissists somehow saw this, and I said to her, it's not about you. You need to stop being so paranoid. Now I'm like spiraling again. I took everything to heart. I took everything seriously. This person continued to do it the day of my birthday. So that was the day that I almost did it again. I came home that night. My parents said happy birthday to me. I was just very monotone in a way. I was just very straight. I had no emotion. I just said, thank you. I'm very tired. I just worked out. I just want to go to my room. Close the door, lock the door. And I did it. But unlike August, maybe after like 4 or 5 seconds, I was like, I can't do this. No way. I also started going to the gym more because I've realized whenever I'm at the gym, I'm able to just release all of my stress through boxing, through lifting. Suicide is definitely no joke. I know a lot of people go through it. They don't say anything, but you have to speak up. My friends know about my situation. My family doesn't know because to them, they're very old school. So to them, depression, suicide, it's more like, why do you need to be depressed? You have a job, you've got money, just go outside and take a walk. So even if I tell them, they're not going to understand it. I had to talk to friends about this. I'm doing a lot better now. I do still see the narcissist from time to time, but the one thing that I've learned is narcissists will not change. They will always twist everything and make you the bad guy, even though you've done nothing wrong. I am very big on mental health now. Everyone at work knows about my mental health, and they know that I have been suicidal. They know that something wasn't right with me because they could see something wasn't right with me. I've been at my job for about 14 years now. So when they saw that sudden shift from being that happy-go-lucky teacher who's always jolly and loves her students to walking down the hall with her kids with this frown on her face, just looking dreadful, just not herself, they knew something wasn't right. Some of them will ask me, how are you doing? Is all this well? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing fine. And, they're always saying, if you ever need anything, we're always here for you. I appreciate it. I have my little circle of friends. The few that I have, I know for sure I can trust them with my life. So anytime I need to talk to them, I will talk to them. As cliche as it sounds, you are needed in this life. I thought I wasn't needed because both narcissists that I had made me feel like I'm worthless. But when I see my students laughing and giggling, and every morning they walk in, a whole cluster of them will just run right up to me and tell me, Miss F, do you know what happened yesterday? Miss F, this and that. And like, they just want to talk to me. Like, and it feels great because it's like, you're only what, 6, 7, maybe 8 years old, and you don't want to talk to your friends. You want to talk to me. So that just feels that's love right there. I'm like their safe person. Like the other day, while the gym teacher was telling them how to play basketball, and I'm watching my kids, they were like, Miss F, do you want to play basketball with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? You can play with all of these friends in your little group, but they were like, we don't want to play with my group. I want to play with you. I'm like, all right, let's play. One of the mom texted me and she said, thank you so much for playing with my little girl. She couldn't stop talking about it. It really made her day. So just something simple like that. It made me feel so good knowing that even though certain people will say you're worthless, you're nothing, but to other people, I am their world. For anyone going through depression and suicide, don't let the thoughts get to you because honestly, they're just thoughts. It's not real. What one person thinks of you Who cares? There are so many others who are going to think so highly of you, and those are the people you want to be around. I've been reading that per day, 400,000 people commit suicide. I believe that's what I read from Happiness Project. So if you see someone, just give them a hello. You never know what they're going through. It's always good to be kind. Sometimes just a simple smile and how are you doing could be the day where they feel like, you know what, someone recognized me. I'm not invisible. I may not mean a lot to them, but at least someone noticed that I am around and they asked how I'm doing.